In 1943, a silent tragedy unfolded in Bengal, India. Over 3 million people perished in one of the deadliest famines of the 20th century. This was not merely a natural disaster, but a catastrophic result of war, colonial policies, and human neglect. Today, we uncover the heartbreaking story of the Bengal Famine. The Bengal Famine occurred during World War II, a time when India was under British colonial rule. While the world was embroiled in war, Bengal, a region rich in culture and agriculture, faced an unimaginable crisis. In 1942, Japan's invasion of Burma, a major rice supplier to Bengal, disrupted food imports. Simultaneously, the British implemented a denial policy, destroying boats and food stocks to prevent their use by Japanese forces. This left millions of rural Bengalis without resources to sustain themselves. To make matters worse, the British government prioritized feeding their troops and exporting grain to support the war effort, ignoring the desperate plight of Bengal's population. Food prices skyrocketed, making survival a daily battle for the poor. The famine's impact was devastating. Villages were abandoned as families migrated to cities in search of food. Streets became graveyards, littered with the bodies of the starving and the sick. Cholera and malaria swept through the weakened population, claiming even more lives. Personal accounts bring the tragedy into sharp focus. Mothers sold their children to buy a handful of rice. Farmers, once the backbone of Bengal's economy, were reduced to begging. Entire communities vanished, leaving behind haunting reminders of human suffering. The Bengal famine remains a topic of intense debate. Was it a natural disaster or a man-made catastrophe? Historians point to the policies of Winston Churchill and the British government as significant contributors. Churchill himself dismissed Indian suffering, reportedly saying, "Famine or no famine, Indians will breed like rabbits." While some argue that wartime pressures made the famine unavoidable, the evidence of neglect and racial bias is overwhelming. The famine exposed the brutality of colonial rule, where profits and military objectives were prioritized over human lives. The Bengal famine of 1943 stands as a grim reminder of the consequences of neglect and exploitation. It shaped India's post-independence focus on self-sufficiency in food production and serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unequal power dynamics. Do you think it is natural disaster or man-made tragedy? Please comment below. If you like the content, like, share, and subscribe.